At this very moment, 5,000 American soldiers are living within a floating city of steel in the middle of the ocean. This city is massive, roughly the size of 4 football fields. The chefs on board prepare 7,000 meals every single day. These soldiers live in quarters even smaller than prison cells. This is the USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, built at a cost of nearly $13 billion. It carries 75 fighter jets and an array of powerful weaponry capable of destroying targets from nearly 1,000 miles away. On February 28, 2026, an attack was launched from the USS Ford in an attempt to assassinate Ayatollah Khamenei. At the time, the carrier was positioned in the Mediterranean Sea. This aircraft carrier is no luxury cruise ship. There are no private cabins here, nor any fancy restaurants. The crew members are deployed for 6-month stints to perform some of the most dangerous jobs on Earth. Their lives are lived in a constant state of high alert. This city of steel is perpetually in motion. It never comes to a standstill. And so, miles away from land and suspended over the deep ocean, it continues to float. Let us discover how the 5,000 crew members live their lives within this moving city. First, let's explore how, in the middle of the ocean, far from any grocery stores, meals are prepared for these 5,000 crew members. On an aircraft carrier, the kitchen never closes. There are no holidays in this kitchen, not even during wartime. Meals are served to the crew non-stop 3 times a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Additionally, a midday ration is provided for those crew members working the night shift. This means that food is being prepared around the clock, 24 hours a day. Inside the ship lies a massive modern kitchen and dining area, known in naval parlance as the galley. To prepare meals for such a vast number of people every day, the ship employs a staff of 114 trained cooks. These are no ordinary chefs. They undergo culinary training at a specialized Navy school. Once they join the service, they are required to work in the kitchen for 12 to 16 hours a day. Every day, across various kitchen stations, they prepare a total of 17,000 meals. This means that, on average, each cook is required to prepare 1,500 meals. To cook just a single meal service, it takes 1,500 pounds of chicken, 50 pounds of potatoes, and 300 gallons of milk. The daily cost of food here amounts to approximately $45,000 to $60,000. In other words, the monthly expenditure for feeding the crew alone exceeds $1 million. However, unlike in land-based restaurants, the crew members cannot simply order their favorite dishes. Every 10 to 15 days, the aircraft carrier slows down its pace. This allows a massive grocery supply ship to match the carrier's speed and transfer boxes upon boxes of food packages using a cable system. This is because the aircraft carrier does not return to port simply because its food supplies have run out. Additionally, rations are supplied via helicopters from above. These food supplies are stored within the ship's internal cold storage facilities. The menu here is rotated every 14 to 21 days. The crew is not served the same meals repeatedly. Furthermore, the kitchen staff strives to accommodate dietary needs by taking into account food allergies, religious dietary restrictions, and personal preferences. When mealtime arrives, crew members grab their serving trays and line up, much like in a cafeteria, to view the menu and collect their food. Dining areas are segregated according to rank. Lower-ranking crew members eat in a large dining hall that resembles a school cafeteria, whereas high-ranking officers have a separate dining room furnished with higher-quality amenities. However, despite the abundance of food, danger can strike at any moment. The instant an emergency drill is called or a combat alert is sounded, the crew must immediately abandon the food line and rush to their respective assigned stations. Consequently, they may go without food for 8 to 10 hours on such days. Even when night falls and they retire to rest, their downtime is far from comfortable. This resting area is referred to as berthing, where their beds are arranged in rack-like tiers. The space is so confined that it can feel as though one is sleeping inside a coffin. In reality, 50% of the aircraft carrier's total space is occupied by machinery, nuclear reactors, weaponry, and aircraft. The vessel was designed primarily for warfare, not for comfort. Its 2,000 compartments are interconnected by a network of narrow passageways. Each rack is 26 inches wide, with a 20-inch clearance above the face, meaning you cannot even sit up straight, and the person lying next to you is merely 6 inches away. Moreover, the person sleeping in the bunk above lies so close that you can even hear their breathing. Next to each bed, there is a dedicated storage locker where a crew member can stow their personal necessities for a 6-month deployment. This sleeping quarter for the crew is situated far below the flight deck. Consequently, many crew members go for nearly a week without seeing a single ray of sunlight. Artificial lighting remains illuminated here around the clock. The lights stay on even while the crew is sleeping. Getting a peaceful night's sleep here is a formidable challenge, as an aircraft carrier never ceases its operations. Jets are constantly taking off from and landing on the flight deck. The ship's engines vibrate incessantly. The sounds of heavy steel doors opening and closing echo through the corridors, while the rhythmic thud of boots continues to reverberate through the narrow hallways. In the forward berthing areas, the noise generated by flight operations reaches levels of approximately 81 decibels, while in the aft berthing areas it registers at 61 decibels. To the crew, it often feels as though someone is blowing a whistle right next to their ears. To escape this cacophony and ensure adequate rest, crew members rely on earplugs. They also utilize curtains on their bunks to block out the light. Although, with the passage of time, the crew eventually becomes accustomed to these sounds. A particular challenge arises for those working rotating shifts. They might work during the day for 1 week, only to switch to night shifts the following week. As a result, their bodies never truly manage to adjust to a consistent rhythm. On an aircraft carrier, the most critical resource is fresh water. The ship is surrounded by billions of gallons of water, yet not a single drop of it can be consumed, as seawater is saline. To convert this water into a potable form, the ship is equipped with 4 desalination plants that operate continuously, 24 hours a day. This sophisticated system filters seawater under immense pressure, specifically 800 pounds per square inch, a force 5 times greater than that of a standard fire hose. Salt, minerals, and bacteria are meticulously removed, layer by layer. Through this process, the ship generates approximately 400,000 gallons of fresh water every single day. You might assume that this vast quantity of water is used solely for showering and drinking. However, that assumption would be incorrect. In reality, the ship houses various complex systems, ranging from cooling units to a wide array of specialized equipment that require fresh water to function properly. Otherwise, serious problems would arise on the ship within just 3 days. For showering, the crew must utilize a limited supply of water. Every shower stall on board is equipped with a push-button activator. Each push releases water for a duration of 15 seconds. The first push serves to wet the body, the next allows time for applying soap, and the subsequent push ensures a complete rinse. That is the full extent of the water allowance they receive. This practice is known as a Navy shower. In essence, they are allotted a total of just 11 liters of water for bathing. Their shower facilities are also remarkably small and Spartan, featuring metal-paneled walls with absolutely no provisions for luxury or comfort. Everything from start to finish must be accomplished within a mere 2 minutes. Despite the inherently challenging nature of a sailor's life aboard an aircraft carrier, maintaining personal hygiene remains of paramount importance. They adhere to extremely rigorous hygiene protocols, for within such a densely populated and confined space, the outbreak of disease could quickly incapacitate a large number of soldiers and potentially jeopardize the entire mission. For this very reason, great emphasis is placed on the laundering of clothing. Approximately 70,000 kilograms of laundry are washed every single week. The ship's laundry facility operates 7 days a week, running washing cycles for 15 to 20 hours a day. These are not the small domestic-style washing machines found in private homes. Rather, they are massive industrial-grade machines. Now the question arises, how much fuel is required to propel this colossal steel vessel across the vast expanse of the ocean? You might be surprised to learn that a massive warship like the USS Gerald R. Ford does not require thousands of liters of diesel or petrol, as is the case with conventional vessels, to power its movement. Instead, 2 powerful nuclear reactors are installed within the ship's lower decks. These nuclear reactors are so potent that they possess the capacity to generate enough electricity to illuminate an entire major city, such as Kolkata. These reactors serve as the very heart of the ship. It is thanks to them that the vessel can traverse the open ocean for up to 20 years without ever needing to refuel or pause for replenishment. These nuclear reactors are operated by a team of highly trained engineers from the Navy. Furthermore, these nuclear reactors do not merely provide the propulsion to move the ship. They also generate all the electricity required to power every system within this floating city. Lighting, computer networks, radar systems, and weaponry. Every single component relies entirely upon the power generated by these nuclear reactors. In fact, even the ship's desalination plants, which convert the ocean's saltwater into fresh, potable water for use on board, are powered by these very same nuclear reactors. The roar of planes taking off and landing on an aircraft carrier's flight deck is so intense that it exceeds the limits of human endurance. If anyone were to stand there without earplugs, they could suffer permanent hearing loss. Consequently, the crew members engaged in this hazardous line of work wear uniforms of various distinct colors, enabling them to carry out their duties effectively without needing to exchange a single word amidst the deafening noise. The crew members in yellow guide the jets, those dressed in red load bombs and missiles, a task they consider to be the most perilous of all. The crew in purple refuel the aircraft, while those in white serve as safety inspectors. Finally, the crew members in brown handle maintenance duties. Well, friends, that's all for now. We'll meet again in the next episode.